Hey everybody, hope you are all doing well. Nice to get a little warm weather again, lead us into summer that'll be here before we know it. Hopefully things will go better this summer than last, leading into fall. So I hope that you're all doing well, and hopefully you watched the video that I posted on Thursday night, although I can honestly tell you that based on when I am recording this, which is Sunday night, only 15 of you have. So probably by the time a lot of you see this, it'll be too late for that to have impacted. So let me start off by saying again, it's really important that you read the directions, that you understand what I'm asking you. And if you have questions, reach out to me. Sometimes students do, and I'm totally fine with that. I would rather have you reach out to me and say, do I understand this correctly? Or am I on the right track? Can you help clarify this point? And then get you to the right place than to have you just fumble through it and miss it and go from there. So it's important that you think about what's being asked. Whenever you see a thing, and hopefully you've realized that it comes up a lot, when I'm asking you about the current music scene, I mean just that. The music scene that is happening right now, not 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. I want about what's going on right now. And if you're not sure about what's going on right now, then take a little time. YouTube, Spotify, whatever. Go out, figure out, kind of see what's going on. Look at the charts. Look at playlists on Spotify. Think about what's going on and maybe open it up. You know, there's junk out there, but it's always been that way. And so, I mean, a perfect example, I don't know if I've said it in this class before, and this kind of fits into what we've been covering, but the number one single in 1969. Now, I want you to think about 1969. 1969, the Beatles were still around. It was their last year as a band. You had The Who, Hendrix, Led Zeppelin is still going, or is getting started. The Rolling Stones are still going. The Kinks, all of this stuff is going on. All of these rock bands that are starting to happen and leading into what we're going to be covering this week. Bands like Cream, all of that is happening. All this amazing rock. And the number one single of 1969 was Sugar Sugar by the Archies, which was a fictitious band. If you are familiar with the comic book, the Archies, it was those characters. It was cartoon characters, right? And so that was the number one single. So there's always pop. And within pop, you always get crap, just like we get today. And, you know, we can look back on it and we understand why sometimes we will listen to a song that we really like, even though it's not really a good song or a great song, but it has nostalgic feelings or it just is fun or whatever. I'll give you an example. The song by Pharrell, Happy, I don't like that song at all. It drives me nuts. And I'll tell you why. Because one of the lines in that song says, happy like a room without a roof. That makes no sense whatsoever. I have no idea what that means, but for me, I can't get past that lyric. Is it catchy? Yeah. Does it have a good beat? Yeah. Can you dance to it? Yeah, without a doubt. That's the goal. There's a lot of them. Almost everything the Black Eyed Peas did was really kind of terrible musically and lyrically and all of that. But it's got a good beat and it's catchy, and that's okay. There's always the pop stuff and things that are going on. So be mindful of those things as we're going through. Today, you're going to go, wow, this is a terrible song. And you may think the song's a great song, and I can guarantee you there's artists that are really popular right now that we will not even know about 5 years ago, from now. No one will be talking about him. And a perfect example, how many are talking about Soulja Boy, right? How often does Soulja Boy come up in conversations? Now, was Crank That a great song? Yeah, without a doubt. I love that song. But it's just a pop song, right? That was for a moment in time and all of that. It certainly wasn't moving the art form forward. Maybe a little bit, but there's other things going on. Anyways, I digress. So make sure you read the instructions, you read the directions in the assignments, and that you understand what it is that I am asking you. So if I am talking about, let's say, are there any hard rock bands today in the current music scene or new hard rock bands? If I'm asking for a new hard rock band, Please do not give me Guns N' Roses. Please do not give me Metallica. Please do not give me System of a Down. I mean, in the last year or two. So if you're not sure, go look. Look it up. We got this thing called the internet. It's fabulous for that. Google it. You know, young hard rock bands, whether they got Wolfmother or Hailstorm or whoever. There's stuff out there. There's a band called Mammoth. Eddie Van Halen's son, Wolfgang. It's his band. So there's stuff out there. Check it out. Okay, so this week we have hard rock and heavy metal. So I'm not going to go through all the way back. You know, I've been doing that every week, talking about, we went back to jazz and blues and blah, blah, blah. You know that. We got to rock and roll. And rock and roll really was about the electric guitar, right? The electric guitar became front and center with popular music we saw guitars through the blues, and then certainly by the time we got to Chicago blues, and you got folks like Lightning Hopkins and Muddy Waters and T-Bone Walker and other people that were really pushing it, and that became the foundation. Certainly the godfather of rock and roll in terms of especially electric guitar, without a doubt, is Chuck Berry. Right? So Chuck Berry really put that in there, and then it carried on. So think about, how does the electric guitar from Chuck Berry into the 60s and into these hard rock and heavy metal bands, how does that follow through? Put the connections together. I don't want you, I got another student plagiarizing this last week. I don't want you to just Google the answers. I want to find out what you're learning and that you can bring this idea and this idea and this idea in together and formulate them into a thought. I know that a lot of school was not about that, but life is totally about that. What do you think about something? That's what I want to know. So in the 1964, we had a song by the Kinks that really laid the foundation. And your 10-point answer for this video, reply to this video, is what song by the Kinks laid the foundation? The song. It's in the book. Look it up. It's been covered a number of times, but you will see it in there. And then from there and other songs by bands like Steppenwolf and Bad Company and Cream, they formed the foundation of what became hard rock and heavy metal. You're going to be asked, is there a difference between hard rock and heavy metal? I'll give you a heads up. If there wasn't, we wouldn't be separating them in the book and we wouldn't be talking about them. So think about, as you're going through these materials, what is the difference between hard rock and heavy metal? You're going to learn about Led Zeppelin. I love Led Zeppelin. I think that they were amazing. They had some ethics issues. They stole quite a few songs, or ideas from other songs, or lyrics from other songs. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just if you know the Led Zeppelin song, Dazed and Confused, Google Jake Holmes, Dazed and Confused, and you'll find where they stole it from. And what I mean by they stole it, again, plagiarism, is taking somebody else's work and claiming it as your own. So when that came out on Led Zeppelin's first album, they didn't say, hey, we're doing a cover by Jake Holmes. They played it off as though it were original, but it is definitely not original. And there are plenty of them out there. The intro to Stairway to Heaven, Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You. There's lots of them. You can find them. There's your whole YouTube videos on it. And then, but that said about Led Zeppelin, to me, is the foundation, the band that really formalized both hard rock and heavy metal. And so you have, in this band, you have hard rock and heavy metal, and then they went like this, and hard rock went this way, and heavy metal went this way. Led Zeppelin is the foundation. And one other thing to keep in mind with Led Zeppelin, unlike a lot of other bands, the Rolling Stones, the Kinks, the Beatles, Led Zeppelin was a super group basically when they came together. Robert Plant already had his career going. Jimmy Page was a session musician, playing for other folks. John Bonham was already playing for other folks. John Paul Jones was a keyboard player, bass player, arranger, working in the studios, could read and write music. So the reason that Led Zeppelin was so amazing, or one of them, is because they were already amazing musicians at the start of it. Then you're going to learn about how hard rock and heavy metal moved through England, and how it moved through the States, and actually how it started to move around the globe. So when we learned about the British invasion, we saw American rock and roll jump the pond and get taken over by bands like the Beatles and the Stones and the Who and all that sort of stuff. Now what's going to happen is that this style of music that really started here in the United States is going to go global. So you'll learn about AC/DC from Australia. You'll learn about the Scorpions from Germany. We'll have English bands, American bands. So you're going to have hard rock, heavy metal, and then glam metal. So enjoy. Hopefully you find something new. Maybe you'll find something that you like. We got a lot of cool stuff coming up from here through the end of the semester. We're going to be switching genres all over the place. So you got just one module this week. So enjoy it. Keep on it. And again, reach out to me if you need help, if you need clarification. I did realize, thankfully, one of the students emailed me, one of you, and said, hey, I can't find anything about the report where to submit it online. And I realized that I forgot to, I think I published it, and then I must have accidentally unpublished it, but it is published again. So your concert report is due May 9th. So you got a couple weeks to go. If you have questions on if a band counts, please reach out to me before you go ahead and do it. Also, don't think that list that I provide is the only, those are the only ones you can choose from. You can pick other ones as well. So that's it for now. Have a great week, and we will talk soon. Bye.